on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a vinyl haul showcasing all the records that I acquired within this year's 2023 Record Store Day. So first up, I hope that everyone out there had a great and successful Record Store Day venture. Of course, it's a day to celebrate and support your mom and pop record stores, but also get your hands on some exclusive releases that are only made available to mom and pop record stores. You guys know what Record Store Day is all about. No need to rehash it here. I don't think I commented on my thoughts for this year's list for Record Store Day. Overall, I felt that the list was a bit niche, but in a good way. It wasn't as overblown and bloated as I feel that it has been in previous years. I was surprised to see some artists not represented. We didn't see a Bowie release, but of course we saw the usual, Grateful Dead's, Ramones, Doors releases, but also some other surprises that I was not expecting. And I think at the end of the day, I was pleasantly surprised with some of the choices that were made for the releases this year. And I can gladly say that I got pretty much everything that I was after. There was actually a small list of things that were kind of like maybes or like kind of low on the priority list. And if the Discogs and aftermarket is flooded with some of those titles that I was kind of curious on, I might seek them out later on. But needless to say, I think I have quite enough to keep the turntable and myself busy. So enough of the chit-chat. Let's jump into what this video is all about. Starting off with, I think, the must-own release for me. And I think if you're a fan of my channel and you've been watching me long enough, you can probably guess what that is. That is Eric Carr's Rockology. Of course, Eric Carr was the second drummer in Kiss. He obviously wore the Fox makeup. This is not the first time that this collection of demos was pressed on vinyl. First came out on CD in the early 2000s. And then Tom Shannon's label, The Rockologists, did a vinyl pressing of it. And apparently that's been going for pretty high prices as of lately. So I'm glad to have that in my collection. And then Culture Factory went ahead and put out this expanded version, which has a couple of bonus cuts as well, which is nice. And obviously, as you can see, I'll take off the OB strip so you can kind of see it fully. The artist that did the cover art for this release is the same guy that did the 78 solo albums, because apparently there was a little loophole in Eric's contract where he could have had the option to do a solo album, and obviously this would have been the cover. So I think this is very fitting overall to fit alongside the other four. And of course, I mean, as you can see, it's styled the exact same way as the 78 solo albums. You have the individual track-by-track credits and whatnot. And of course, inside, there's also a little poster that opens up like this, kind of done similar to how the other solo albums came. Now, obviously, you cannot connect this with the other four. This is a standalone, but it still is very cool. We have some printed inner sleeves. We have some brief write-ups about Eric Carr's early pre-Kiss bands, which there are some recordings of those bands featured in this collection in the bonus cuts. And then we have a message from Eric's sister, Loretta. Cool picture of him and Bruce Kulick. And this first LP comes pressed on orange vinyl with black and white splatter, which is very nice. And you can see Eric's makeup persona in the center label on that side. And then the second LP comes pressed on clear vinyl with orange, black, and white splatter, which is very nice. And this right here is a Record Store Day exclusive pressing, limited to 4,000 copies. And of course, because I am a Kiss geek, I couldn't just get the vinyl. I also had to get the little CD version. Now, this one right here is a limited run / regional focus release, limited to 500. Same kind of Japanese-esque obi strip. And inside, of course, we have like a little miniature poster, which is cool. Little printed sleeve for the CD. And the cool thing with the CD is that it kind of looks like a miniature LP, how it has the grooves on the surface as well as the black disc as well, which is a very nice touch. So very happy to get both of those variations of a must-own release for any Kiss aficionado. Next up is, this was another definite must-have on my need list. Not my want list, my need list. But also I was very stoked when this was part of the list when I first saw it. And also the sort of hype surrounding this release as well, which is also very exciting. And that is the Donnas, early singles, 1995 to 1999. Donnas, all-female sort of punk hard rock band from California. Absolutely love these gals. And this was put out by Real Gone Music. They did reissues of the 2 Atlantic albums, Spend the Night and Gold Medal. But this right here brings together some of the early singles when they were on Lookout Records when they first started out. So we basically have all of those single A-sides on the A-side. And then on side 2, we have various covers. They do Ace Frehley, Speeding Back to My Baby, Kiss a Strutter, Alice Cooper School's Out, REO Speedwagon's Keep on Loving You. This is an absolutely cool release, and when this was announced, Real Gone Music kind of hinted that they're going to be doing the other early Donnas albums, which I am so excited for because OGs go for $80 and up. There's unofficial presses of the first album out there, so those first couple of Donnas albums are going to get properly reissued finally, so I'm stoked for that. But this is going to be a cool little companion piece to go with the studio albums. So as you see here, we have sort of a track-by-track breakdown with liner notes from each of the Donnas. And we also have a cool insert with sort of a collage of newspaper clippings and photos. And then we have some liner notes as well from each of the gals. And this right here is an RSD first release, so that probably means that there's going to be a standard pressing coming down the line at some point. But this RSD first pressing comes pressed on gold vinyl, which looks absolutely awesome. So I'm very happy to get my hands on some more Donnas albums, and also, once again, like I said, very stoked that the other early stuff is going to get reissued later on down the line. So very happy about this. Next up, we go into the classics territory. We have Billy Joel live at the Great American Music Hall in 1975. This right here was actually released as part of the Vinyl Collection box set, which brings together some of his early albums along with some live stuff. And they decided to give this a breakout release and release it separately on colored vinyl for Record Store Day. And overall, this is a solid early set list from Billy. You have Ballad of Billy the Kid, The Entertainer, New York State of Mind, what else is on here? There's an interlude of You Are So Beautiful, Everybody Loves You Now, Root Beer Rag. So if you're into all that early, first couple of albums worth of Billy Joel stuff, this is definitely something cool, and I do love me some Billy Joel. Also kicking myself because I don't have that Carnegie Hall release from a couple years back, so I gotta hunt that down sometime. But this is an RSD exclusive pressing, limited to 6,700 copies, and this comes pressed on sort of silver colored vinyl, and as you can see, there's those old-fashioned red Columbia labels, which is how they were back in the day, so that's very cool. This is a 2 LP set, looks the same across the board, so you pretty much get the general idea. Moving on, we have one of the Fab Four, and that is Paul McCartney and Wings, Red Rose Speedway. This is another one of those half-speed Master McCartney cuts that have been coming out over the course of a couple years. McCartney 1 got a half-speed cut for one RSD in the past. Then we got Ram and Wildlife, and then now this is the next entry. And they're kind of, I guess, spreading these out depending if it's, general, indie mom and pop, standard releases or Record Store Day. I have the 2 LP original version of Red Rose Speedway back when it was proposed as a double album. But I've been itching to get the single LP version, and I didn't want to quite go through the hassles of getting the archive collection. So the single LP half-speed will do me just fine. And also, these half-speeds sound phenomenal, too. They're fun to collect. They come with these cool little obi strips, which are always nice. And as you can see, all aspects of the original artwork are faithfully replicated, as you can see here. I will actually take out everything and show you everything, just for the sake of everything being represented here. So here we have a little, if I can get this out of the jacket, this small little postcard, which has a brief writing from Miles Showell talking about the half-speed process and how they go about utilizing it. And then we have a nice little booklet, obviously, which did come with the original album. Various photos of McCartney and illustrations and artwork. Of course, you got some photos of Wings there. So, all good stuff. And then the record itself comes in its own sort of printed white inner sleeve with a little brief bit talking about how this record was cut using high-resolution transfer of the original 73 master tapes. Half-speed master closely references the 2018 remaster. So, full transparency there. And, of course, custom center labels, as you can see here, which looks absolutely nice. Nice heavyweight vinyl. And just for the sake of showcasing every bit of artwork, here is the OB as you see it. And then there's also the track list and such on the backside, which is very nice. Now we're going to rev up with the Motor City Madman. Also, real quick, Paul McCartney, RSD first pressing, limited to 4,000 copies. Now on to the Motor City Madman, and that is Ted Nugent, Nuge Vault Volume 1, free-for-all studio rarities. So apparently there were some various master tapes and reels of Ted Nugent outtakes dating back, from the 70s up until whenever it is the present day. And they're going to be slowly releasing these. This is the first of a new series, and I take it that we're going to be getting plenty of other volumes with future record store days to come. And when it comes to early Ted Nugent, debut up until Cat Scratch Fever, and hell, you can even count Weekend Warrior, State of Shock, just great ballsy hard rock albums. Politics aside, Ted Nugent has plenty of great early tracks. And on this, you get, various just different versions of tracks that are on the Free For All album. So you get, Ted's guide vocal of the title track, an early rough mix of Dog Eat Dog, Derek's rough vocal of Street Rats. You get a live version of Free For All. So if you're a Ted fan and you're into digging into all that kind of minor minutia, then by all means, this is something for you. This is an RSD exclusive pressing, limited to 4,000 copies. And this comes pressed on white vinyl, which looks very nice. All good stuff here. Now we're moving on to another one that was big on my want list. And of course, I mentioned this band in terms of always being represented for Record Store Day. Of course, there is always a obligatory Ramones release. And right here is Pleasant Dreams, the New York mixes. So we basically have some early rough mixes of tracks off of the Pleasant Dreams album. But what's cool with this is that there are tracks on this version that do not appear on the final album. So there's tracks such as I Can't Get You Out of My Mind, which was re-recorded for Brain Drain, Sleeping Troubles, as well as the song Touring, which was on Mondo Bizarro. So, and also some of these tracks, have been bootlegged and such for a long time. There's also tracks that appeared on as bonus cuts on expanded CDs and such. If you're a Ramones fan, you already know the drill. But what's cool about the artwork is that this right here was the original proposed artwork for the album before it became the silhouetted guy with the top hat and everything. So there's that. Back cover. And then, of course, we have a printed inner sleeve. Cool band photo there. Track list. I even included the hype sticker on the jacket just because there was space for it. And this is a RSD exclusive pressing, limited to 7,500, and this comes pressed on yellow vinyl with that classic Sire label, which is very nice. Moving onward, past couple of years has always been a Stones release, and I was tempted to upgrade my clear vinyl copy to get my hands on this special version of Beggar's Banquet. Like I said, past couple of years, the APCO stuff has been given some special RSD treatments. Satanic Majesties was reissued, I think, on splatter vinyl. There was that infamous hand-poured version of Let It Bleed. There was Hot Rocks, more Hot Rocks, and now we have Beggar's Banquet. And this right here is an absolutely beautiful pressing, as I will show you. So obviously, as you can see, OB type strip, you have the original uncensored toilet cover. Gatefold jacket opens up, just like the original. To add a little extra bit of exclusivity with this pressing, it does come with the original promo poster, which, if this setting looks familiar, this was indeed the same photo shoot that comprises the back cover of the Hot Rocks compilation. This is an RSD exclusive release, limited to 9,000 copies. And to reference one of the song's lyrics, which is swirling mass of gray, blue, black, and white, That's exactly what the vinyl is. And take a look at this gorgeous piece. Look at that. Granted, the mock-ups looked kind of intriguing, but seeing it in person, and given that, you know, this type of pressing cannot be duplicated, not one is going to look the same. This was an absolutely gorgeous piece, and I'm so glad that I pulled the trigger and decided to get this. And like I said, part ways with my clear vinyl pressing, which I'm sure they're probably using the same metal parts, I think, from that pressing. I'll have to do some research in the dead wax, but needless to say, an absolutely gorgeous piece of colored vinyl is in my collection as part of this year's Record Store Day in general. Now we move on with another one that was big on my want list. I was so stoked to see these albums finally get reissued properly. This is a band that I've been digging into a lot, I would say, for the past year, and that is, of course, Sparks. Now, they reissued the self-titled debut, as well as the follow-up, A Woofer in Tweeter's Clothing. These albums are absolutely fantastic, mixing in some glam elements of T-Rex and like almost predating Queen when it comes to that sort of operatic, you know, style. I gotta say, out of the two, I think the debut is my favorite. Wonder Girl's on here. Simple Ballet is great. No More Mr. Nice Guys. It's such good stuff. And then with Woofer in Tweeter's Clothing, you have Girl from Germany, which was a notable single. They even do their rendition of Do Re Mi from Sound of Music, which is very Sparks-like when it comes to their early stuff. But OGs of these albums go for crazy prices, and Friday Music decided to reissue them, and I'm so glad that they did so. And also, fun fact for, you know, any Sparks fans out there, the debut first came out under the band name Half Nelson, and then when that failed to make an impact, they just simply put it back out under a new name, and the rest is kind of history. Now, each of these Sparks releases are RSD first releases, limited to 1,500 each. The debut comes pressed on red vinyl, which is obviously very fitting for the color scheme of the artwork. And then Tweeter's Clothing is pressed on blue vinyl, and as you can see, they do replicate the Friday, the Bearsville label, which was Todd Rundgren's label, but obviously they put the Friday Music label on there since that is who distributed it. And moving onward, we're kind of reaching somewhat the tail end with a couple more releases. Next up, we go into some soundtrack mode. I've actually been meaning to comment on this particular film that I did get a chance to see. And because I'm a Kiss fan, this was mandatory viewing for me. And that is the soundtrack to Spinning Gold. This, of course, is a film about Neil Bogart and how he started Casablanca Records. Obviously, Kiss was the first band to be signed to the label, and of course, it was home to, you know, Donna Summer, Parliament, and a few others. I will say the film was entertaining when it came to learning about the artists that Neil had a hand in crafting, whether it was the Isley Brothers and Donna Summer, Gladys Knight, all those acts. When it came to the Kiss stuff, of course, I went into it with an analytical eye. Did they get stuff wrong? Yes, they did, but I kind of set myself up for that before I went to go see the film. I mean, God, like in the opening scene at the Casablanca launch party in '74, why are they playing Shout It Out Loud? This is one of those things, but needless to say, I enjoyed it enough to get the soundtrack. But also, like I said, I feel like it's kind of mandatory. Will my Kiss Army card be revoked if I didn't get this? But no, needless to say, it's a great soundtrack. The music is great. You know, good music is good music. So, obviously, it's giving you the bird right off the bat on the front cover. And then here's the track list. And inside, we have a nice insert, little photo collage of screenshots from the film, and then there's also a little write-up by Tim Bogart, who was one of the film's producers, as well as Neil's son, which is quite nice. This is an RSD exclusive release, limited to 3,500, and of course, if you're spinning gold, you might as well do it literally, because this comes pressed on nice Ripley gold vinyl. Absolutely gorgeous. Has a nice sort of rippled effect to it, but then if you hold it like in a certain light, it looks more smoky. I don't know. That's always how I encounter most gold vinyl pressings to be. So that is very, very cool. And now here is the part of the haul where I might lose a subscriber or two when it comes to this next release. But look, there's no doubt in my mind that this woman has talent, and also this album has, not this specific release, but the album that this is centered around has a special place in my heart, and that is Taylor Swift, Folklore, The Long Pond Sessions. So when it comes to Taylor Swift, the Folklore album was the album that sold me entirely. Of course, my best friend Chelsea, aka the Record Spinneret, is a die-hard Swiftie. And one memory that I have vividly is that we watched the Disney Plus special, which is Folklore, The Long Pond Sessions, which is where Taylor Swift, as well as Jack Antonoff and the other collaborator from The National, the name's escaping me, Aaron Dessner, that's the one. They basically did like a stripped down version of Folklore, and the Folklore album, like I said, is what sold me, so I figured it would be kind of special to own this, since I did enjoy the special, I enjoy the album, and also it has a special place within me and Chelsea's friendship, so I felt that it was kind of necessary to check it out. But also given how widely available this is, because after the whole debacle of the Lake 7-inch from last year, the powers that be pressed up more of this. This is an RSD exclusive pressing within the US. This is limited to 75,000 copies, which is insane. But obviously, ease of access for everybody, because let's face it, Taylor Swift's fan base is rather large for the most part. Worldwide, I think, if you factor in all the copies that are available in Europe, it's like over 100,000 copies, so it's quite insane. There is a nice insert, little photo collage of Taylor and the guys, as well as a photo of Taylor herself. And this is pressed on, if I can get it out, gray colored vinyl, which is quite nice. Overall, I would say it fits the Folklore aesthetic. If you look at the album artwork, you basically get what I mean. But, you know, and it's funny too, because like Chelsea had asked me in the past, she's like, when are they going to do a vinyl press of the Long Pond Sessions? And I said, honestly, I'd wait for a record store day. And sure enough, my predictions were right. Didn't know when it was going to happen, but Chelsea, I was right. So, got my hands on that. And sort of last but not least, we have a band that I hope is going to go forward in this direction of putting out albums from this particular era of theirs. I am talking about Van Halen Live Right Here, Right Now. This came out back in 1993, celebrating an anniversary this year. And obviously, this is the first instance that a Van Hagar album has been reissued on vinyl. For many years, it has been all or nothing about, you know, it's basically been all about the David Lee Roth era. And look, when it comes to Van Halen, I prefer Roth, but I do like the Van Hagar stuff, and I think that that stuff should not be ignored by any means. So hopefully this release right here is an indicator as to what we will be seeing in the future from the Van Halen camp, and this is quite a bulky package too. This is a 4LP expanded version, expanded in the sense that there's 3 bonus cuts, and this is a sort of multiple gatefold type of jacket, which is pretty nice. This is an RSD exclusive release, limited to 7,500 copies. And this comes pressed on translucent red colored vinyl, which is very nice. Now, that is kind of the last piece that I'm going to showcase in this haul, but there is one more thing that I'm going to quickly show you. I still have it in the box. I'm not going to take out everything and show you everything, because if you're watching this and you're a follower of my channel, I'm actually going to be showcasing this as part of next month's Sunboxing on the first Sunday of the month, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But I did also get my hands on the Doors RSD mini Crosley turntable. I have always wanted one of these small little turntables just for the novelty of it, and when I saw that there was a Doors one coming, just the fact that it has a Doors logo on it, I was like, that's more of an incentive for me to check out this one. But it also does come with some mini Doors records, but like I said, I'll showcase and talk about this thing more in the Sunboxing. So there you guys go. That is my vinyl haul from this year's 2023 Record Store Day. Here is a question for you guys. What did you guys think of the list, and what did you guys get your hands on for this year? Please drop a comment down below. I'd love to know. And if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the records spinning.